It began with a mirror, an old oval-shaped antique salvaged from the ruins of the Ashcroft estate. When art restorer Lena Voss received it for restoration, she didn't question the ominous instructions left behind. Do not look directly. Do not reflect the night. The mirror's glass was cracked, but held together unnaturally, as if refusing to fall apart. Its frame, an intricate vine of black and silver, seemed to breathe in the corner of her apartment. The air turned colder. Shadows shifted, and the mirror began whispering her name. Lena, a pragmatist and skeptic by nature, believed only in tangible decay. Wood rot, rust, physical breakage. But this mirror didn't decay. Its damage was static, frozen. Time seemed to hold it together by force. Then things began to unravel, and Lena began to wonder if the cracks were in the glass or in her own mind. The first night Lena worked late on the mirror. Her studio was soaked in the orange hue of the street lamp outside. Her tools were scattered across the table: microfiber cloths, polishing liquid, resin, and a pair of fine tweezers. She reached for the mirror to examine the edges of the crack under light, and her eyes met her reflection. But it wasn't her. The woman in the mirror had her face, yes, but the eyes were wrong. Dark red, sunken, as if blood had filled the whites. The corners of her mouth stretched into a disturbing skeletal grin that wasn't hers. She gasped and pulled away, her heart pounding. When she looked back, her normal reflection stared back, pale and wide-eyed. A simple trick of the light, she told herself. Fatigue. She'd been working long hours lately. That night, her dreams were murky and sharp. She walked barefoot through a hall of glass shards that cut her soles. Her distorted reflection followed her from shard to shard, always grinning. When she woke, there were small, bloody cuts on her feet. The mirror had come with little documentation except a yellowed label and a thin envelope that had fallen from the back of the frame. Inside was a brittle note, written in looping cursive, the seventh looking glass, sealed by right. Do not break the gaze. Curious and increasingly disturbed, Lena reached out to the local historical society. Her inquiry led her to a woman named Moira Witt, a librarian who had an interest in occult artifacts. Moira pulled old newspaper clippings and letters from the estate's archives. The Ashcroft family had vanished mysteriously in the late 1800s. Elise Ashcroft, the estate's last resident, was rumored to be a practitioner of forbidden rituals. Her diary, partially preserved, had passages like, "Mirrors fracture not reality, but the soul. A soul, once shattered, cannot return to form. I must seal the seventh." Lena read the passage aloud, a chill running up her spine as the temperature in her studio dipped unnaturally. Over the next few days, Lena's behavior changed. She began to lose track of time. She'd find herself standing in front of the mirror without knowing how long she'd been there. Her phone showed gaps in her recordings, blackouts. She installed a camera in her studio to monitor her activity. The next morning, she reviewed the footage. She watched herself rise from sleep at 3:13 a.m. sharp. She walked to the mirror, eyes closed, and whispered to it for nearly an hour. "Let me out. Let me out. Let me out." It wasn't just her reflections anymore. Figures began to appear behind her in the mirror, tall, emaciated silhouettes with fingers like glass shards. They never moved, only stood watching. Sometimes they'd shift slightly when she wasn't looking directly into the glass, just enough to be noticed from the corner of her eye. One evening, she found a message etched into the steam on her bathroom mirror. "Glass is the door. Break the skin." The message vanished before she could photograph it. Moira referred her to Dr. Felix Mayer, a historian and expert in cursed artifacts. Upon seeing the mirror, Felix grew visibly pale. He told her about the legend of the Collector, a spiritual entity that gathers fractured souls through reflective portals. Every sliver taken from your reflection is a piece of you lost. The more you look, the more it takes. he warned. Lena asked about Elise Ashcroft. Felix told her Elise had shattered the original 7 mirrors to stop the collector from emerging, but not before it claimed her. If you've seen your eyes change, your face warp, it's already begun. The mirror showed Lena things it shouldn't. She began to see other mirrors, each in different places: a church attic, a swamp cabin, a hospital morgue. In each, people stared into them, and behind each person stood their reflection, only subtly wrong. She dreamt of a vast hall filled with suspended mirrors. Some were broken, some wept. Then she saw Elise standing in the center of it all, whispering in reverse. Blood dripped upward from her mouth. Lena's hands began to bleed spontaneously. Doctors found nothing wrong except for thin, clear slivers under her skin. She picked one out with tweezers. When she held it up to the light, it showed her, screaming, trapped, eyes wide with madness. And the whispering grew louder. "You're becoming part of us," the mirror said one night. Her reflection no longer mirrored her movements. Felix and Moira helped her decode Elise's final ritual from torn journal pages. It required blood, candlelight, 7 obsidian stones, and complete darkness. Lena returned to the Ashcroft ruins with the mirror. In the attic, the ritual circle still lingered in faint chalk lines. She performed the rite in reverse. The candle flames burned blue. The mirror vibrated. A scream split the air. From the mirror, Elise's broken form emerged, shattered pieces stitched with sinew and shadow. "Too late!" she shrieked. "You've broken the veil!" The mirror shattered, not in shards, but into floating slices of alternate realities. Time bent. Lena saw infinite versions of herself, all twisted, crying, dead. The collector emerged, his form a towering amalgam of fractured reflections, each movement accompanied by the sound of breaking glass. He stepped into reality. Walls cracked. The sky outside turned black. Lena's voice split in two. Her body fractured. Now Lena exists in the mirror world, a stitched dimension of broken moments and looping time. Here, she is not one, but many, each reliving a moment of terror. Some versions scream, some are glass themselves. One rocks back and forth, muttering, "Let me out." The collector watches from his throne of mirrors. He holds Lena's final shard, what remains of her soul. She wonders if anyone can still hear her whispering from the glass. The mirror was recovered by an antique dealer. Its surface is flawless now, its history unknown. It was sold to a young couple who admired its elegance. They hung it above their fireplace. Sometimes at night they hear faint sobbing. Sometimes their reflections don't follow them exactly. Sometimes they dream of glass, but it's just a mirror, isn't it?